Hello incredible friends, I'm here today to give you a quick tutorial on how to make this cute Easter treat. This is a treat box and I have jelly beans in it. I've got it for Easter. You could easily use this for Mother's Day. This would be great teacher's gifts, your mailman, your neighbors, anybody. But we're going to use it for Easter for today, and this holds, I think I put in 4 ounces? I think it's 4 ounces. I'll have to double check. I think it's 4 ounces of jelly beans. It's actually quite a lot. It was 2 packages, like individual packages that fit in here. So it really does fit a lot. And I am going to just go ahead and move the camera down. We're going to just go ahead and get started. Now I'll tell you all the measurements for today's project will be put on the blog. So let's first just talk about what products you're going to need to make this. So I am using the Lots to Love framelit set, and we're going to use 2 big pieces. One is the box, the holder for the box. This is what makes the box, and then we're going to use this banner piece for today's project. I'm also using the circle and the scallop circle from the Layering Circles set, and that's what gives you this yellow frame right here. And then you'll need a scrap piece of Whisper White. That's for to stamp your sentiment on. And for the box, I'm using Daffodil Delight, and you'll need a scrap piece of paper in that same color to cut out the framed circle again. And then I have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. This is from the Bubble and Fizz set, which you can get right now for free with a $50 purchase prior to taxes and shipping. And this has all kinds of this double-sided paper, and there's a bunch of patterns, and it's great. It's good quality paper and it's fun. But you know, certainly feel free to change this up, use whatever you have. But I'm going to show you just how quickly this box comes together. Now, because I need the Big Shot today for several of these pieces, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. I did get my Big Shot out. Hopefully you can see this. Let me move the camera just a little bit more. Hopefully you've got a good view. And I am just going to go ahead and again, all the dimensions for these will be on the blog post. So be sure and check that out if you want all the measurements. My arm is going to be in the way here while I crank this through the Big Shot. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'll probably have to stand up to do this. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this back through just to make sure everything's cut really well. And I hope the video isn't shaking too much. The Big Shot kind of, and some people do cut both of these out at once. You could try it. I just didn't want to take the risk in case it messed up, since I'm on camera and I'm trying to do, you know, trying to keep the video quick. I didn't want to mess up, so I thought it would just be safer for me to just crank one at a time. When it cuts 2 at a time, that's great. It's a great time saver when it works, but it doesn't always work. So, and while I have the Big Shot out, so here's your 2 pieces to the side here. And while I have the Big Shot out, I'm going to go ahead and cut my frame as well. Now to do that, to do this frame, that's what this yellow piece right here is. And to get that made, you lay your circle down, and then you lay your scalloped edge right over on top where you want it. Put your top plate on, crank it through, and again I'll go ahead and crank it back just to make sure it cut well. And when you lift that off, you have your little frame. So the last thing, since I do have the Big Shot out, and I need to, it takes up a lot of room, so I want to get that out of the way. So just real quickly, I'm going to jump ahead for a moment and go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And the sentiment, I'm going to stamp it in Bermuda Bay. And actually, this is a really old stamp that I have. It's a retired stamp. So feel free to use anything you have in your stash, and you don't even have to do a sentiment. You could leave it just with the window. It's still cute without any sentiment if you wanted to do it that way, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out just because I have it here and I want to show you the same as my example. So this is also from the Lots to Love framelit set, and I'm just gonna place my banner where I want it. I think I'm gonna do it that way actually. I kind of like it that way. And I'm gonna run this through the Big Shot, and then after this we'll be done with the Big Shot. All right. So now I have my sentiment. It just says Happy Easter. All right, so I'm gonna put the Big Shot off to the side here. Now, oh wait, I'm not done. One more step. I will need the Big Shot again in a moment, but first let's just talk about the pieces here. So these are your 2 panels that you cut, and there are score lines on this, and what you want to do is go ahead and fold all of your score lines. So there's the flaps for the box, there's the sides, and there is this flap, and then this other kind of lip here. I'm gonna fold it. That one didn't fold quite straight, so let me get my bone folder out. That just helps get nice creases in these lines. Okay, so that's one piece, and then I'm going to fold the second one. And again, you're just folding where all the score lines are. This is really a fun box, and watch for a blog tomorrow on a bunch of different things you can use to fill up this box. It's not just candy, although there's lots of candies that will fit in here. Now, the one thing about putting this box together that you want to remember is you want one flap at the top and one flap at the bottom, because what's going to happen is these boxes are going to kind of fit together. You kind of see how that's going to come together. So what I like to do, so you see how I've got it kind of, well actually one step before we get to that, the first thing I need to do is actually adhere my designer series paper. So let me go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to cut the hole in the center. And you don't have to cut the hole in the center either. If you don't have the framelit, or you just want the box to be plain without a window, that's totally fine too. And I just realized I forgot to get my window sheet out. So that's okay. I'll still be able to show you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get the Big Shot out again. It's just right here on the floor beside me. And making sure you guys can see this. So all I'm going to do here, so I got my magnetic plate, got my clear plate. I'm just going to position the circle in the center on the box where I want it to cut out. And I'm just doing one, you just want one piece cut. Well, I guess you could do 2, but I just want one side to have a window. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this through. And you can save this, you can use it for some other card later. But you see, now we have our window. Now I'm done with the Big Shot for the day. And you can use a couple of different things to put this together. I actually usually really like this score tape, Terran tape. Stampin' Up! Sells it. It's really a sticky tape, and it's great for boxes. Today I'm just going to be using the Tombow liquid glue. And the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I am going to, I think I'm first going to glue my, let me see if this is going to, you have to just take a moment to make sure you're putting this together right, because you don't want to mess up here. All right, I'm going to put my sides together first. So on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and actually put glue down on both end pieces here. Make sure you don't get it on the flaps. We might put it there in a moment, but not right now. All right, now again, you want to make sure that you've got this flap on the bottom, this one's at the top, and just go ahead and make sure you match up. This is another good reason for using glue instead of tear and tape. You can do either, but with glue you have a little more wiggle room if you don't position it just perfect the first time. So I'm just making sure I have that lined up, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it up around, and I've already got glue on this side, and I'm going to go ahead, and again, you want to make sure that your ends are meeting here. I don't know if you can see that, but you want to make sure that these ends, I might need to put more glue on this, and then you want to make sure that they meet here, and just kind of press that. I think I need more glue on this side. Just press it down until it sticks. All right. And that is really all there is to it. This box comes together so quickly, and it's so cute. Now I will tell you, if you're going to use tear and tape, which is what I did on this one, I used tear and tape. If you're going to use the tear and tape, when you put the tape on, you want to make sure that it's as close to, I guess I would call this the outside edge as possible, because if you put it like, if you have the tape further to the crease in the front, then this top part kind of open, gap, it just gaps, and so it has a much better close if you put the tape right along the edge. So that's just a little tip. Now for the bottom, if you want to make sure that your contents aren't spilling out the bottom, it's a pretty sturdy box, but if you wanted to make sure that stuff wasn't going to come out of there, you could easily just dab some glue on here and tuck it in, and then just give it a press, and pretty much you're done. You've got your little frame here. So again, this is where Tombow glue is great, because you're dealing with a little tiny frame here, so it's easier to use glue. So I'll just run a little bit of glue around here, and then we can place that down over the circle, kind of fit it, find the spot where you want it, and then just press it down. It'll take a few seconds to kind of adhere. And then what I did, then you just tuck this in, and you got your little box. And then what I did with this one is I have the stamped image, as you see that already, and oh, I got it upside down, which Facebook shows it all backwards anyway. But I have my sentiment. I did use dimensionals to pop it up, and then I also just took my Bermuda Bay ink and a Stampin' Sponge, and I just went ahead and dabbed the edges just to give it a little color. It was a little too much white for me, but you could, I think this just gives it a really nice look overall. So that's all I did there. And then I popped this up on using the dimensionals, like I said, anywhere you want it. You could slant it, anyhow, any which direction you want to go is just great. And then that's really all you do. It's quick and simple. I did go ahead, and this is just white twine. I wrapped a couple of times around the top of the box and tied a bow. And that's it. And these, like I said, watch for my blog post tomorrow. There'll be a list of a bunch of ways that you, or not ways, but things that you can use to fill these boxes with. And like I said, it holds a lot. It's a really nice box. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Please, before you leave, hit the red subscribe button. And even after you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell below it. And that way you'll get notified every time I have a video for you. And trying to think, well, we are getting near the end of the Celebration sale. The Celebration is for every $50 you spend, you can pick some free items to purchase. So you've got until the 31st to do that. It's a great time. It's also a great time to join as a demonstrator. If you want to consider joining, you get, for $99, you get $125 worth of product shipped to your house for free. And you can choose anything that you want from the catalog. And you also get an additional 2 free stamp sets. And you'll be entered into a drawing that it'll be specifically as a thank you from me. You'll be entered into a drawing to win another stamp set up to a $30 value. So that's all through March 31st. Again, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. If you have any questions or if you want to share your project idea, please feel free to do so in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye.